Hello, it's Alison here. I just wanted to give you a quick rundown on what you're going to experience when you join us for Dance Business Q&A. Now, this is not just a little dinky Q&A call with really low level fluffy stuff. This is let's get right to the heart of what is causing you grief in your dance studio and let's bloody well sort it out. So that might be looking at your pricing and helping you get a pricing strategy in place. It might be showing you how you can sell out your dance classes and get a waiting list. It might be that you need to look at your studio operations and we can map out a way of really streamlining those and making them really easy and very light to run. It might be that you need help with your team. We can generate you a hiring and interviewing process that helps you find, keep and mentor an amazing dream team that are going to really help you. It's what you need it to be. But because of that, don't think it's going to just be light and fluffy. We're going to get right to the heart of whatever you need in your dance business and we're going to bloody solve it for you. Now, it's very easy for me to say that. We've got a testimonial or two a bit further down the page. Have a look at them. Have a look at them and see what people that have been through this process have got to say. It might be useful for you to know why I do this. Basically, I've been where you are, and long story short, I crashed my car into a lamppost because I fell asleep at the wheel. And I fell asleep at the wheel, that was my dog. I do apologise. I fell asleep at the wheel because I was doing too much and I was just working more hours and more hours and more hours and more hours. And if I hadn't hit the lamppost, my car would have gone into a river. So there's a real genuine chance there that I would not have seen the next day if that lamppost hadn't been there. And that was a wake-up call for me that I need to learn how to do this a better way. I'm not going to lie, I took some action at that point, but not enough action at that point. And then I lost my daddy and I'd put a lot of things on hold while he was poorly. And once we lost him, it was kind of like, well, what's the excuse now? So I flew halfway around the world and invested a ridiculous amount in my own business education to learn a better way. Then along came COVID, everyone's favourite, and we were the first studio in the UK to take our studio online, which was a week ahead of when the government mandated it. And I ran a little free training just for dance teachers that I knew and kind of friends of friends, and basically said, you know, I've got a really kind of back of a napkin online studio set up. I've got no idea if it's going to work, but if you want to see what I've done, I'm really happy to show you. So I did a free training and my DMs just blew up. And I mean, if you guys were running your studios in 2020, you remember what that period was like. And I was alternating between putting this face on and being like, it's going to be fine, guys. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to run this online studio. It's going to be fabulous. I don't want you to worry. Alternating that and sat on my kitchen floor. And I just remember just sobbing my heart out and going, if I lose my business because I make a stupid decision, that's one thing. That's okay. That's fair. If I lose my business because of bloody COVID, that's not fair. So, you know, the combination, the juxtaposition of those two things and my DMs blowing up was why I went, hang on a minute. I want to serve our community here. I was really, really clear that this is not just about getting my studio over the line during COVID. This is about getting the whole dance business industry over the line in COVID. And I can't do that for everyone else and save my own business at the same time in this kind of up here way that was happening, because my DMs were just rammed with people wanting help, which is when I started the Inspirational Dance Teachers group as a free resource of, well, I can put some stuff in there every week. People can support each other in there as well, so it hasn't all got to be on me. And it's just continued to grow, as these things often are. It was never something that I set out to do particularly. It was kind of a happy accident, and within a couple of weeks of doing it, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love doing this as much as I love running my studio. I love the fact that I've learned a huge amount of this the bloody hard way. And And I've invested hugely in my own business education, and I know not everyone's in the position of being able to do that. And FYI, I didn't have the money just sat there. It was, okay, I can just about scrape together the money that I need to pay for it for this month. God knows how I'm going to pay for next month. And then I'd scrape together the money to do that. And gradually, obviously, the education took hold, and the money I was making in the studio went up, and it became easier and easier and easier to afford that training. But the money wasn't just sat there. And yeah, I just realized that I loved doing this, and I wanted to make it something that more studio owners could access. At the time, there was nothing like it in the UK, and there was certainly nothing that was affordable for your typical average dance studio owner. You know, for some of the super studios in the States, there were programs that were affordable, but for people like me, it was a huge stretch, and I wanted to do something that made it affordable for dance studio owners like me. So there we go. We've kind of tinkered quite a lot. We've gone through having quite a big curriculum, and realizing that actually, for a lot of people, that's just really bloody overwhelming, because then, as well as all of the busyness in their studio, they then feel like they've got a great big long to-do list of a curriculum to get through, which is why we've moved over to this this model, which is much more nurturing, I think, of saying, come along at this time with whatever's bothering you, and we'll fix it. There isn't a to-do list. There isn't a curriculum you've got to get through. There aren't modules you've got to tick off. There's not certifications. There's no pressure, because God knows we don't need any extra of that. It's just, what's the issue? And let's solve it. And that doesn't mean we solve it with just like icing, just kind of plastering over the gaps. Sometimes you'll come off that call and actually you'll be being tasked with doing something very different than what you thought you needed to do, but you'll always come off it with something that is genuinely the solution to the problem, rather than just kind of wallpapering over the cracks with something that's just icing, or a cookie cutter curriculum where we pretend that the same thing is going to work for everyone. So there we go. There's a little bit about me, a little bit about the dance business success coaching and how it started and why it started. And yeah, we've got our next call coming up. I'd love to see you on it, and just bring that thing that you're stuck with and we'll fix it.